Curiously enough, at the very end of the 19th century, one of the absolute most technologically backward armies in terms of weaponry was the United States military. Even though the country was already globally famous for the massive innovation of its firearms industry, the Army stubbornly resisted change. They absolutely did not standardize a repeating smokeless powder rifle until 1892 with the Krag-Jorgensen rifle. It is entirely true that in the past, the U.S. military had adopted repeating weapons like the Henry or Spencer rifles and carbines, for example, but absolutely not as a standard issue weapon for the entire Army, but rather strictly for a few specific infantry or cavalry units. It wasn't until the year 1892 that the American military finally decides to completely renew both its standard handgun and its long gun. And apparently, they made a massive mistake in both of their final choices. Both with their handgun, the Colt 1892 New Army double-action revolver, which officially replaced the veteran 1873 Colt single-action, also known as the Peacemaker. One of the absolute biggest failures of these brand new revolvers for the military was strictly its caliber, a .38 long Colt, severely lacking in stopping power. If you deeply want to know more about this specific revolver, we actually have a full video on the channel. And they finally replaced the aging Springfield model 1873 rifle in .45-70 caliber, a single-shot weapon for the highly innovative Krag-Jorgensen bolt-action rifle, featuring a capacity of up to 6 rounds. In this video, we will focus exclusively on the American variant, since many foreign armies successfully utilized this exact rifle in a massive variety of calibers. And we will deeply discuss its lasting impact on the rugged legacy of the Far West. When absolutely many foreign armies were already utilizing repeating rifles, the United States military stubbornly continued using their single-shot Springfield 1873 and its heavy black powder .45-70 government caliber, a massively outdated caliber right with the arrival of smokeless powder and the brand new cartridges featuring vastly superior performance, boasting massive advantages in projectile velocity, maximum range, and surgical precision. However, the strict military leadership vastly preferred single-shot rifles, since their enlisted troops were largely untrained, and they firmly believed that with a fast repeating weapon, a massive amount of valuable ammunition would be recklessly wasted in completely inexperienced hands. Even so, the United States military absolutely did not want to be left entirely behind, and they officially adopted the Danish-designed Krag-Jorgensen rifle, also known as the Springfield 1892, since it was actively manufactured under strict license by the Springfield Armory. This specific rifle quickly became the absolute main weapon for every single branch of the military, permanently leaving the antiquated Springfield 1873 strictly as a secondary or reserve weapon. The American Krag was officially chambered in the .30-40 Krag caliber, a highly modern caliber that successfully utilized nitrocellulose or smokeless powder, which originally loaded a heavy, completely rounded bullet or projectile, which, although it improved the internal ballistics of the old black powder .45-70 by a massive margin, it absolutely did not reach the sheer precision and blistering speed of other European calibers, like the 7mm Mauser or the French 8mm Lebel, since those specifically utilized highly aerodynamic, sharply pointed Spitzer projectiles, which were vastly more efficient in absolutely every single aspect. As we have previously stated, it was a bolt-action rifle, and it was famously known for possessing one of the absolute smoothest and fastest bolt actions of its entire era. One of the primary mechanical characteristics that actively made this possible was that it uniquely utilized just one single locking lug. Many people loudly claimed that it possessed a highly weak action. However, for the specific caliber it utilized and the internal pressure it actually had to withstand, it was vastly more than enough. Its magazine was quite curious, and public opinion on it is honestly a bit divided. because it absolutely was not loaded with stripper clips like the Mauser or Mosin rifles, but rather it was loaded through a unique swing-open side gate directly on the side of the rifle. If you were a highly trained soldier, we could confidently say that you were quite fast to reload it. But I honestly still think that the standard stripper clip system is vastly more efficient. Otherwise, it absolutely wouldn't have been heavily utilized even during the Second World War, almost 50 years later. Furthermore, this specific rifle featured a metal switch that completely locked the internal magazine and instantly converted the weapon into a single-shot rifle. Something that the old military generals of that era absolutely loved, and it flawlessly allowed you to utilize it exactly as if it were the previous Springfield Model 1873. Additionally, it also featured a manual safety in the absolute purest Mauser style. This legendary rifle saw heavy, bloody action during the Spanish-American War, and without being a bad rifle at all, it clearly possessed enough massive disadvantages when directly facing the legendary Spanish Mauser, and it found itself completely outclassed almost immediately. Both by its vastly superior reloading speed when efficiently utilizing stripper clips, and by its devastating 7mm caliber, which offered a blistering speed and a surgical precision vastly superior to the Krag. In addition to a remarkably flatter bullet trajectory, thereby offering a massively longer effective range. Furthermore, it was later utilized on a very small scale during the bloody First World War, strictly for second-line or even third-line reserve troops. The Krag rifle remained in active military service until approximately the year 1907, exactly where it was permanently replaced by the legendary 1903 Springfield rifle that we absolutely all know from the First and Second World Wars, and the incredibly famous .30-06 caliber. An almost completely perfect caliber that, even today, is still being heavily utilized all over the world. So, the Krag-Jorgensen was completely relegated to a secondary battle line, and they were rapidly sold off by the absolute thousands as cheap military surplus straight into the civilian market. However, out in the civilian market, this beautiful rifle actively enjoyed a massive second life. Since it was being sold off purely as army surplus at a highly reduced price, meaning extremely cheap, absolutely many gunsmiths heavily modified it to make it vastly more accessible for civilian hunters and precision target shooters, beautifully improving its wooden stocks and iron sights, radically shortening the heavy barrel, making these weapons incredibly much lighter. In addition to creating beautiful sporterized or saddle carbine versions for target competitions or wild game hunting. Out in the civilian market, buyers were actively seeking highly accurate bolt-action rifles, since classic lever-action rifles were slowly becoming outdated and were strictly meant for much shorter distances. And if we carefully add to this that absolutely many shooters greatly improved the .30-40 Krag ammunition by carefully loading it with vastly more efficient, sharp-pointed Spitzer projectiles, and the absolute fact that they were right in the middle of a brutal economic crisis with the Great Depression, people desperately searched for a cheap, highly reliable, and surgically precise hunting rifle just to proudly bring fresh meat straight to their family's dinner table. We have easily been able to clearly see this iconic rifle in massive Hollywood movies and television series, especially those specifically set right at the very end of the 19th century or the early 20th century. Furthermore, we have actively been able to flawlessly utilize it in modern video games, exactly like the massive Red Dead Redemption saga in Battlefield 5, or deep in the dark swamps of the Hunt Showdown games. In conclusion, a historic rifle that, even though it was only in active military service for roughly around 15 short years, enjoyed a massive, highly successful second life in the civilian world, beautifully demonstrating its massive reliability, its highly innovative design, its surgical precision, and its vastly underrated stopping power. Approximately 500,000 units were proudly manufactured right in the United States alone, not even counting the numerous foreign armies all around the globe. And even though it absolutely did not quite reach the high standard of some legendary rifles that were its direct military competitors, and it undeniably was not actively present during the dusty conquest of the Old West. It permanently left its absolutely indelible mark as the very first smokeless powder, repeating rifle, ever officially adopted by the armed forces of the United States of America.